Hey, hey, I have a question. Do not skip me, because if you skip me, you're a pussy. But
Okay, go
how
ahead.
is Israel a terrorist country? Terrorist country? Because you know what? You know what's a terrorist act? Hamas. You know what Hamas did? He packed shrapnel into bombs and tried hitting civilian locations. No other country packs
Okay,
shrapnel into missiles and
okay.
hits civilian
Yeah,
targets. That is a war crime.
yeah.
That is very dangerous. That's a terrorist act. You are purposely trying to maximize civilian deaths. So, would you not say Palestine is a terrorist country? Because Israel doesn't pack shrapnel into their bombs and hit
So,
civilian locations.
yeah, but the Israeli people they went to Palestine as refugees.
Uh huh.
Do you know that?
Okay, and Israel also got
Do you
bombed
know that?
1,500 times.
Yeah, why they got bombed? Because Palestine are trying to defend themselves.
Uh huh.
Because
And with
Israeli
terrorist
people they
ways.
went they
With
were
terroristic ways.
wait, wait.
Yes, with
Yeah,
terroristic
wait,
ways.
let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Well,
Israeli
you're
people
calling
they
this
went to
country a
Palestine.
terrorist country, but yet the country you support is attacking this country in a terroristic way.
No, no. They are just trying to defend themselves. You got to know the facts.
I do know the
Because
facts.
Israel went to Palestine.
So they're trying to
Yeah,
defend
yeah.
themselves. So would you think it's
Let me
okay
finish. Let me make it clear for you.
Since Palestine broke the ceasefire, the peace treaty, whatever they had, and bombed Jerusalem 1,500
You
times? Let me finish.
stop. Let
They
me finish.
bombed Jerusalem 1,500 times. Do you think that's okay? Do you think Israel should be able to fight back? Because if Israel fights back,
Why they bombed? Why they bombed? Because
there was
Israel started the war. Israel went into Palestine as refugees. You gotta know the fact.
I do know
But
the
they're
facts.
now trying to
I do
take
know the
over their
facts,
own
man, but you're
country,
calling Israel
Palestine.
a terrorist country
Yeah,
whenever you're supporting Palestine and
yeah,
Hamas,
no, no.
which literally put shrapnel into missiles. No
You,
other country does
Israel,
that, man. No
Israel was
other country
Israel,
does that. That's the thing.
Israel,
You need to know the
Israel
facts.
was never
The
a
country
country,
you're
man.
supporting
You
is
need to know the
literally a
fact.
terrorist organization. Hamas is a terrorist
No,
leader.
no,
Hamas is a
it's not.
terrorist
It's
leader.
not.
Hamas is a
Israel was
terrorist
never a
leader.
country.
It's
Israel was
very
never
funny
a
you're
country.
calling Israel a terrorist country
Israel
when
was
the
a
leader
never
of your
country.
country's military is a
Israel was
terrorist leader. Hamas is a terrorist leader.
never even a country. Israel was never even a country. They went into Palestine
Yeah,
as
you know
refugees,
what Israel did?
and they're
They fought
trying
for
to
their
take over
independence.
Palestine.
They fought for the independence and they won.
No,
And they
they never
won.
fought for the.
In
How the refugees fought for
1946,
the
they fought for their
independence?
independence and they won.
How there was never even a war. They went there as refugees, and they're just stabbing from the back. That's the fact. You
That
gotta know
is
the fact.
literally
You gotta learn the facts.
they fought and they got their independence.
There was never even a war. I'm trying to tell you over and over
I
again. They
know
were
it happened.
refugees. They were refugees. Yeah, they were refugees. So how come they're trying to take over their own country, Palestine? How come they're trying to take over Palestine in the country which they went there as refugees? How? Answer me that.
And there
Does
was a
that make
war.
sense?
It was called the Arab Israeli
Ne-
War and it lasted a whole year. There was a
no,
war.
never. There was never even a war. The media's
Yes, it was
trying
cuz
to,
between 1947 and 1949, there was the Palestine War and it formally began
no. There
following
was
the end of the
never
British Mandate. And between that
there
time
was
and
never even a war.
1948, it was called the Arab and Israeli War,
No, there
where the
was never
people in
even a war.
Israel they fought and they gained their independence. It was a war that lasted
Google is lying.
just
Media
before a
is
year.
lying.
It's a
You
war
gotta
that
know the
lasted
fact.
just before a year, and they
Google is
won.
lying. Media
They
is
won.
lying.
They
Okay,
won.
you gotta know the
That's how
fact.
war works. They fought for their independence and they won.
No, no.
It lasted a year.
Okay,
It's called the Arab
how did
Israeli
they
War.
fight? How
You can
did they
look it
fight?
up yourself. You can look it
How,
up yourself. It is called the Arab and Israeli War.
where should I look it up? Where should I look it up? Where
Dude,
should
go
I
on
look it up?
Google and just look up the 1948
Yeah,
Arab
the Google.
Israeli War. Go
Yeah,
on Google. Go on
That's the
Google. You
thing.
just
Google
asked me,
is
so let me
lying.
finish. You just
Google is
asked me a
lying,
question, let me
man.
finish. You just asked me a question, let me finish. Go on to
Okay,
Google. Go on to
okay,
Google.
okay.
You can go and look up 1948 Arab Israeli War. You can go to their MFA reports it. History State Gov reports it.
Google is
My
lying. That's
Jewish
the fact.
learning
Media is
reports
lying.
it.
No, no.
Yeah.
They,
Look it up.
okay.
Look it up.
Look
it up.
give me a logic. Give
I'm
me a
telling
logic.
you to look
Give
it
me a
up.
logic that
I'm telling you to look up the
no,
Arab and
no.
Israeli war. You want
I'm
me to
not
put it in?
talking.
I will put it in the chat for you.
I'm
Do
not.
not worry. Do not worry.
Okay.
It's called the
Wait.
It's called the
Okay.
1948
Slow down. Slow down.
Arab. No, you're just
I'm
asking
not
me a
talking
question.
about
I'm
that.
telling you what to look at. I'm telling you what to look at, man.
Okay. Okay.
Arab. I'll even put it in the chat for you, since apparently you can't look it up yourself. So you can just copy and paste.
I'm not talking about the war.
That is the
I'm
war.
not
That was
talking
the
about
war
the
for
war.
independence. That
I'm
was the
just
war for
saying
independence
you.
where the Israelites
Let me
fought against the Palestine.
let me talk.
So
Let me
no,
talk.
I'm gonna tell you.
I'm
I'm gonna
talking
tell you. I've
about
been
that.
talking. I'm
Show
still
me a
gonna
logic.
continue to talk because I was talking. So
Okay.
there
Show me a logic that
there was
no.
the Arab-Israeli
You
war
show
was
me a
the second and final
you give me
stage.
a logic.
Was
You
the
give me a logic.
second
I'm
and
asking for a
final
logic.
stage of the 1947-1949 Palestine War. And in between that, it lasted from 1948 to 1949. It started May 15th, 1948, and lasted till March 10th of 1949. Was the Arab-Israeli War, which resulted in the independence of Israel.
There was not an Arab-Israeli war. There was the war that
It's what the
you
war
can
was
say there was a
called. It
civil
happened in
war.
the middle.
No.
It happened in the middle of the
Yeah, it was
Palestine
called.
War,
Yeah.
which formally began
No.
with the end of the British Mandate. And in between that, in 1948, sparked the
They
Arab
were
and Israeli
nothing
War,
but refugees.
where
They were nothing but a
where
bunch of
the
people who
Israelites
went there,
fought Palestine. They fought
as
Palestine.
refugees,
It's
and
very
they
simple. If
stabbed
you don't
they
believe
stabbed
me, you
the
can
country
copy and paste
that
what I
took them
sent
as
you.
refugees
You can copy and
behind the
paste what
back,
I sent you.
and
You can copy and paste what I sent you. You can
I
put it
don't
in
need
the
to copy
Google.
and
You
say
can go to the
paste. I
news
don't need to
sites and
copy
you can
and
find
paste.
about 100 different news
No.
sites reporting it. Yes. You're calling Israel a terrorist
No.
country when you're supporting a country that puts shrapnel in their bombs and attacks the citizens to maximize civilian casualties. And that you're not looking up what I'm talking about. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War. That's what resulted in the Israeli independence.
Th-
It's very
That's
simple, man.
that's
It's very
what
no.
they're
You're
calling,
trying to
but that's
argue.
not
I'm not
valid.
going to keep arguing you if you're not going to look it up because it's very simple. You obviously know nothing. You very obviously know nothing. So I'm
I
not
know
going to continue to
everything.
argue with you if
I
you're not
know
going to look it up.
everything.
I'm showing you. They literally.
Okay.
All you have to. Do you
Okay.
want? Do you want a news site, man? I can even give you a news site. I can even give you a news
No,
site.
I don't
If you
need
can't
anything
look it
from.
up
I
yourself,
don't need
if you're
anything
just going to
from.
hold that in front of your screen and say
I don't need
Israel's a terrorist
anything.
country,
I don't
if
need
you're
any
just going to hold
data.
that in front of
You
your
just give
screen
me a
and
logic.
say
You
Israel
give
is a
me a
terrorist
logic.
country,
You
if you're
just
just going
give
to
me a
hold that in
logic.
front of your screen and say Israel's a
You
terrorist
just
country, I'm not going to
you
keep talking to
just
you because I'm
you
showing
just
you. You're claiming there was never a war. Yes, there
yeah.
was a war. It's called the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. And you're refusing to look it up. You're refusing to go to any news sites and look it up. You're refusing to go even. You're refusing to even
You
go into
give me a
Google.
logic.
You're refusing to go into Google
How
and look it up, man.
how
How are
the
you gonna keep trying to
country
argue if you're not gonna look at anything I'm
Google
showing
is
you? You
lying.
just said there was not a war for
Google is
independence.
lying. That's the fact.
What's the
No,
fact?
there was a war that was called the Civil War. There was not an
It was
Arab
not called the
Israeli war.
Civil War.
That's the fact.
Let me repeat what I've said 50
Yeah,
times since you can't understand it. In the 1948
it was.
Arab-Israeli War, which was the
That's what they're
second and
calling.
final
That's what
stage
that
of the
they're calling. Man,
1947-1949 Palestine War, it formally began following the end of the British
oh
Mandate
my
for
God.
Palestine at midnight
That's what
on
they're
May
saying. They're
14th,
gonna say it for
1948.
maybe like 100 more years, but nothing's gonna change. Nothing's gonna change the fact
No,
this. The
Palestine is not a terrorist country. You know nothing.
no.
You know nothing. And then you said there was actually no civil war. Yes, there was a civil war.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, you can look it up yourself. You can look it up yourself.
Yeah. That's one.
Whatever
That's
they're
what I'm
teaching
trying to
you in
say.
school, man, whatever they're teaching you in
There
school is
was a
false.
civil
It's
war, but
propaganda.
they're calling
All
it
you gotta do is do a quick
Arab-Israeli
Google
war.
search. Do a quick Google search, man.
No.
Or go into any history book. Go
Man,
do a Google search.
Google is lying. How
do
many
a Google
times
search
do
for
I
me.
have
No,
to repeat?
listen, for real. Do a Google search for me. Look up what I sent you. It's very simple. You will see. I don't know who told you that there was not a
I've
war, but there
already
was a
read.
war.
I've
It was a
already
war
read
for
hundreds of
independence.
articles about this. I've already
Okay,
read
I'm saying this
hundreds
one
of
last time.
articles
If you're
about
not going to
this,
look it up,
so
I'm going to
I
leave.
don't need to
If you're not
Google
going to look it
anything.
up, I'm going to leave. And this is going to be going on YouTube to show how stupid you are. I'm showing
know
you what
what?
to look at, and you're
There's
not
no
looking.
point of talking to a person.
Mhm.